born in it. And you know what they say about opinions, right?
Well, I don't give a damn. They like,
don't you even start your stuff.
Girl, come on. I don't give a damn. I'm ready.
You always ready. You stay ready because you ain't got to get ready.
You already know. Because it's about what? To each his own. I better go. We're going to be out here for a while.
Okay. It is what it is at this point.
Shit. I know they're not in the bed.
Double shit.
Fuck it. Cheers, partner.
Cheers.
Now we know what's going on with what's going on. How y'all doing? Hey, y'all. Welcome to another episode.
Hey, y'all. What's up?
Welcome to another episode of To Each His Own podcast. I'm one of the two of your lovely hosts, Ms. Lomax.
And I am...
This is I.
Sunkist_chalk. And
You
together, we are...
The Jones from the 215.
To each his own podcast. Hello, tribe members. Hand claps.
What the fuck? Did you just binge watch Bridgerton or something?
No, I haven't even seen one episode. That's just one of my favorite accents. Anyway.
Bitch, you just came on here giving Peppa Pig vibes, okay?
It's giving Harry Potter.
You know what? I'm gonna take another drink today because she likes her shit.
Gryffindor, bitch!
Let's get to it.
Slytherin.
That's what's been going on, bitch.
Hufflepuff. Say.
Not huff or puff.
A lot of shit.
How about I just blow the house down?
A lot of shit has been going on. So this is episode 18. I just wanted to put that out there. So
yes, this is.
What we got coming up? We got Martin Luther King Day.
Martin Luther King.
We have International Education Day. That's happening on January 25th. And the commemoration victims of Holocaust is on the 27th. And we've also got the Grammys coming up on the 31st. Do we care about the Grammys?
I don't give a damn about the Grammys, but you know what was interesting that you just mentioned the commemoration of the victims of the Holocaust. Because I was binge watching a series last night. I'm trying to specifically remember the name, and it was about the Nazis and the Holocaust. Oh my goodness, I'm watching it on Netflix.
Interesting.
And I gotta get the name. All right, y'all. When I get it, and if it come up to me, don't be surprised if I blurt it out sometime on the remainder of this episode once I finally remember it, because I'm like, my mind is not going to rest, because when I go back home and lay down, I'm going to finish watching it.
Okay. Well,
you know what? Let me see if I can find it, because I do have my Netflix app, so it will tell me what I was watching last.
Okay. All right.
So what's been going on with you, Niece? While I'm trying to look at this side.
I'm relaxing. Not really relaxing a whole lot, but relaxing, being more intentional about self-care and things of that nature.
I know that's right.
Yeah, and just getting ready for what we got in store here. Okay, what's going on with us?
It's the what's going on with us, okay?
It's working. BTS, okay? You better believe it.
You better believe it.
It's going to be a good year for us. I can feel it in my bones.
Yes, it is. I agree.
I can feel it in my 32-year-old bones, okay? So, as far as what else is going on, I feel like, I don't know.
Well, you asked me that I give a fuck about the Grammys. I used to as a kid, but now I don't.
Okay.
And you know what? The only thing that I think of, when I think about Grammys, I just think about, I feel like the Met Gala has taken over, has replaced what we used to feel about the Grammys. I just feel like the Grammys at some point just became all about the fashion and the red carpet aspect of it. Gotcha. And I feel like the Met Gala, like I said, in the newer age, in the newer decade, has replaced the excitement of the Grammys. We all know a lot of the award shows nowadays are pretty rigged, and the same people are getting the same awards. Mm-hmm. So it's like, what are we really getting into it for? We already know what the expectation is going to be from the people and what the outcome is going to be for the most part. So it's really all about seeing who shows up and wears what.
Yeah, true. And I don't be giving a fuck, honestly, because the Met Gala, to me, half that shit don't even be cute.
Yeah, I can't even say
to me,
I watched an award show.
Yeah. Right.
Any type of award show, whether it be music,
yeah, that you say that. Yeah.
acting, all those Academy Awards, AMA. I don't give a fuck about none of that. Even when it come down to the hood shit, Hip Hop Awards, BET. I haven't watched any yet. Bitch, now the Source Awards used to be my shit.
Yes.
Now why they stopped that hood shit, I don't know.
Cause somebody gonna get shot. That's why.
But I'm not gonna even lie. That's when award shows was good. Back when, you know, people was really getting awards for their creativity, and you was getting awards because you was top on the charts. Like, bitch, you stayed number one on the charts for 15, 16, 20 weeks straight. So you earned your way to getting your awards. I miss those days. The BET Uncut days.
Reached the top.
Yeah, BET Uncut, Source Awards, Big Ticket in the Basement. I miss those days.
Yeah. Right.
That's the days I gave a fuck about award shows.
You absolutely
But I heard Big Ticket coming back with a show.
The basement, yeah, the Rap City, the Basement was my shit. I ain't gonna hold you.
I heard Big Ticket coming back.
See this world.
Cedar was
Rap
my...
City, yes.
Cedar!
She better be real. That's all I'm saying. She better be real.
I know you lying. Cedar was on Encore.
Huh?
Cedar was on the Encore. Don't do that. They brought Cedar back, bitch. For any of you guys who saw BET's Encore, yes, with Nivea when they was trying to put together that 15 member girl group. Yes, and it wound out about down to 4 or 5 at the end, bitch.
Yeah,
Cedar was running the show, bitch. Cedar was the MC.
You know what?
Child was good and excited. I only stayed watching it because it was Cedar on it. I swear to Bob,
We heard from Cedar. Shout out to Cedar.
Yes, and that's not. I said, see, I said, bitch, you look good, girl, too, but you still look good. You look blessed. Yes, and she still got a little short
snatched. Digitally snatched.
Digitally snatched. Bitch, y'all gotta bring Cedar back to the meta world. Fuck time. Y'all gotta get Cedar.
Cedar was our time.
Yes,
cheers to that, bitch.
Cheers.
Sister Cedar.
Sister Cedar. Fuck you talking about? Don't let me. You know, I gotta find her. We gotta find her. The voice of Cedar.
Yes.
We gotta find her. If I can find that bitch, we gonna bring her on the show. I wanna know what her experience was like being Cedar behind the scenes. That would be dope as shit to figure out. That would be dope to, like, all the... You know who I would like to interview? I know we kind of getting a little side chick, but we just talking about Grammys and what's going on. I would love to interview people like AJ and Free.
Oh, yeah.
Cedar,
to see
Big
what happened.
Yeah, like all the old classic shows. I would love to interview like the CEO of like the Source magazine, you know, the Ebony magazine, like shit like that. Shit that
the
we
old
really
school
used to be.
shit. Remember Jet?
Yes.
Remember Jet?
Yes.
Yo, your grandma wasn't lit. She had a Jet
the
magazine.
Source magazine, yes, we used to get the pop-out magazine with all the pop-out posters.
Yes.
I would love
Word Up magazine.
Yes, I would. That's what I was trying to think about. Word Up. I would love to interview people that were behind the scenes or on the creative side of stuff like that. That would be dope as shit.
It's like I don't think I see those anymore.
You don't?
Maybe it's because I'm not looking for it. I could be wrong,
In
but
the
I used to live to buy the
like,
magazines. I used to love buying them.
It's the magazine, and they have not faded out completely, but magazines are just kind of like marketed to a specific type of industry, like the home industry, the food, you know, older people, medical, the health industry. It's geared towards stuff like that. I really only see magazines when I go into like doctors' offices and shit.
In the grocery store.
Yeah.
But I can't, but what I'm saying is I can't like...
Yeah, like tabloids and shit.
Because Rite Aid used to have big ads. Remember back in the day? I don't even think I've seen that in Rite Aid in the longest. Think about it. They used to have a big ass section.
Now you only see the small section right there when you get to the counter.
Yes. Same thing in the grocery store. But I see less...
That's how I kept up on Princess Diana.
Magazines there. Yeah, in essence.
I kept up on Meghan and Harry like that too.
Okay. Can't stand her.
For real.
Gosh.
But they would be some dope ass people to, so you know what I mean, just sit down and talk to. We always so focused on the stars, but these are the people who interview the stars and sat on the couches with them. You don't know what kind of competitions that they had behind the scenes. And listen, off the record though, sis, that's what I want to know. We need an off the record moment. We got to add that up. We need an off the record part of the segment. Off the record, this is what's going on. We're going to have to add that somewhere along the line. So we try to share our shit. I think that would be decent though.
Definitely would. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Just to see what they have to say.
Yeah, real shit. So what else been going on in the world before we segue in to talk to the people? The new year has came and gone. By the time you guys here, this episode, I think will be about 2 weeks or so into the new year. Mm-hmm. So fuck all your resolutions. But salute to all your goals.
Don't let her talk to y'all like that for future reference.
I can say fuck your resolutions, but salute to your goals. Because all that whole, new year, new me, my New Year's resolution, that shit gets on my nerves.
Really?
How bad? Does.
Half bad or real bad?
No, real bad. Very much so. Okay. Very much so bad.
I understand, yeah, and to a certain degree. Because it's just annoying. Like, I would very much rather, because at the end of the day, we all know what we have to do. And even if you don't know exactly what you'll do, you have some sort of idea about what you need, what you want. So you got to take some sort of action. So you got to start somewhere. So just start.
I have a fucking vision board.
So just start. Sometimes that works for people, and some people don't even do physical ones. They do digital ones. That's better to me, because it's something that you can look at.
I want to do a digital one because I don't got me down for cutting out magazines and doing arts and crafts and gluing and shit.
Yeah, that's just how you make it. I guess people, it's more intimate that way. You get to talk and have your little drink and shit like that.
Or do you want to do a live? So was you want to do a live or you want to do a digital one? Because I want to do one.
We'll talk. Anywhere.
Off the record.
Off the record. But yeah, that'll work.
But nevertheless, so I guess we'll just move right into the first topic. What do we have? Oh, we talked about. It's interesting that we talked about the history on the music side. Just get to know what kind of different dope people with the different music aspects that we've seen transition with magazines and stuff. The first topic that we have is watching your parents age.
And it's so interesting because I forgot what I was watching, but when I think of
like shit we do.
My parents' era, I think because it's so different now, even when it comes to shit like this and like social media. Social media was not a thing back in the day. When it came to arts and artists and artistry and getting to know them and being a fan and they didn't have what we have. Like, we get to know about so much of their everyday life. They simply had a motherfucking picture. You are lucky if you know what they look like. If you hadn't seen them at a show, all you had was that record and whatever picture they put on that record. That's it.
Niggas thought Chuck Berry was white.
Listen,
they did.
It's a lot of people who have songs that are popular within our community, within our and they not colored in like we are. Mm-hmm. They actually are people who are white.
Tina Marie.
Yes, the Blue Eyed Soul singer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and she needs your loving. Okay,
she out on her.
But yeah, watching my parents age and seeing how they're trying to keep up with our times has been very, very interesting.
I think my parents are aging well. My parents personally, I think they're aging well because my parents aren't what I consider old.
Right.
I like to identify old based on, and that's the one thing I do kind of, I guess, agree with America on. I kind of identify old based on the age limit of what's considered older age. And in America we consider 65 an old age.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't consider anybody old until they're at least 65. Because you can't get geriatric benefits until you're at least 65.
Yeah,
so really at that point, I'm just like, okay, so we actually do have an age limit for what's considered old. And it would start at 65.
Until you turn half a century and realize that you really lived half of 100 years.
You did, but you're still not old at 50.
You're not old, but you've been here for some time, though. That's half a century. That's
like you definitely been here for
5
some time.
decades.
But think about it. We've been here for over 3.
Yeah, just a little bit over 3, but that's still like... People who are 50 years old look at us like we are, to be quite frank, they look at us like we're little ass fucking like girls. Kids. No, they really do.
They do.
So
they do. And I be checking the shit out and I be running with them motherfucking 50-year-olds, okay, because y'all got me fucked up. Okay.
But when it comes to knowing but I respect it because
age has nothing on. Everybody has a different experience.
They do, but I can respect it because if you had a longer time on Earth than I have, you might know a little bit more.
But depending on what you did with that time, matters too. That's the only reason why I say age has nothing on intelligence, because you can be old and dumb as a fucking box of rocks.
Yeah, you can.
You can be old and the only thing that you have experienced is going maybe in and out of jail.
Yeah, because it's 80-year-olds out here on Facebook
that don't know shit.
It's 80-year-olds out here on Facebook. Listen,
but it's 80-year-olds who's snappy and whipping at that too. Because when you think about it, and we were just talking about celebrities, think about the older celebrities who all have social media. The Patti LaBelle's, the Gladys Knight.
Yeah, they ain't running it, but yeah.
They not running it, but they understand some sort of idea of the concept of it because they have to have it.
They have to have it, right.
They got to pose for the pictures on it.
True.
You know what I mean? They gotta accept the text. You know what I mean?
True. You're right.
You have to respond to it some sort of way.
It's so funny because Rihanna went live by accident recently.
Not by
That
accident.
shit was funny. I thought that shit was so
How the fuck did she go
funny.
live?
She's like, so I'm just going live for nothing. What the fuck? Or some shit she said. I was fucking hollering. She didn't mean to go. I don't think she meant to go live from her personal page. She meant to go live from the Fenty page. And she was on her, but she was like, am I fucking live? Like, she was like, am I live?
Yeah, bitch, I get paid to do everything. I get paid for every button I push, bitch.
But she probably was just so funny.
That's
just
funny.
Like, oh god, like you don't know how to go live. Like that's funny. I'm like, maybe she really do. She just didn't realize she was live. Because honestly, for me,
that's what I think.
Whatever this update was that I just put on my phone, I didn't have it. Everybody else was ahead of me. And when I went to go live today on the radio show, the shit was changed. That's all I was saying.
What the fuck was going on?
It was a little different. It was set up a little different than it was last time.
Well, what the hell was going on?
It just looks different than when you go live. You know how everything was on the right side of the screen when then you tap the screen for the menu to pop up. It's not on the right side no more. So when you go live, you can if you want to switch like your filter and shit, like you gotta tap the screen to make the menu pop up. It doesn't just line itself up on the right side of the screen anymore. You know how you could press the the little smiley face. The smiley face is still there, but it's not showing. It's like an invisible menu. You gotta you touch the screen while you're on live, and it pops it up at the bottom. Interesting. And it gives you the prompt prior to going live so that you know that that's what you have to do. So shout out to IG for making sure that they did that because this would have been
Meta, let me tell you something, Meta. Meta, you should have met up with me and had a conversation before y'all all started talking about doing all these changes. Y'all just started going and jumping into doing
I swear it's something different every single day.
It really is.
It is.
Like y'all didn't think about having a meta conversation? A mass conversation with the people before y'all started making all these changes?
At this point, I need to have a friend that works for Instagram. That's where I'm at.
I need a fucking hacker friend that knows how to get into the dark web.
Crying.
Off the record.
But yeah, watching my parents age has definitely been a process. Like I talk to them about different stuff. Of course, you have to have the serious conversations about what they would want in case anything happens to them, in case they leave unexpectedly. On top of just preparing to. You can never be prepared to live your life without a parent, but in all actuality, it's just like, I'm an adult now, and I'm well into my adult years. I don't know how much longer I have left with my parents. So let me enjoy this time. And I think about that way more often, especially because I'm the eldest child. And it's like that, it gets to be, I found myself overwhelmed and actually being emotional about it. Mm-hmm. I had a real ass moment with myself, and it's just like, oh my God, like, you're going to be like the go-to once. That's what I was going to ask you. Like, do you think you find yourself thinking about not the death of your parents, but being without your parents or having those moments without your parents? I find myself thinking about it way too much. Yeah, because in all that, do you feel like that's your way of trying to prepare yourself for it? Yeah, but I know it'll never be. It'll never be. Prepare yourself too much for it. And it's so crazy because I often wonder like how my mom feels, like because my grandmother passed away when I was so young, so she hasn't had a parent for the last umpteen years of my life. Like literally, my grandmother passed away 20 plus years ago. So it's like you haven't had a mom for 2 decades now, and you're still in the world. You still basically you're by yourself. You have a twin brother, but it's just like How do you do that? I know especially for somebody who is a mother, because I hold that status to a high regard also, and it's just like you can't go to her and ask her anything because she's not here anymore. So it gets to just I get emotional because I feel for her when it comes to I get very emotional when it comes to that because it's just like she can't come to me and ask me certain shit because I'm not a mom. I don't know I can't fill those shoes of my grandmother. I would love for my mom to be able to talk to me about different things. I know it's a lot of shit I probably have no idea about. So it's just like, woo, it gets to be heavy, y'all. Watching your parents age, that's some real ass shit. But what I can say, just like Christine, I feel like my parents are aging well. They're very active. My dad don't sit down, neither do my mom. My mom is a ball of fire. She loves to, help other people, be out and about. She's very active. My dad travels a lot, so I'm just happy that they're both so active. And my parents are closer to 65 than your parents are. So it's just like I'm at that point. I'm like, my dad like a couple years shy, so it's just like, all right, but he's still out here like this, slanging and banging. Shout out to my Papa Black. Just saw him today. That's my twin. But yeah, watching your parents age it's a real ass thing. I'm like, yo, we definitely got to go on a vacation. Like, I haven't been away with my parents in so long. Like, when I think about that, like, I need more memories with them as an adult. Like, something
Yeah, I
that's
think
definitely on
about
my
that,
bucket
too.
list. I think about it often. Like, I need more memories. More memories. I think that's something I'm gonna need.
Closer to not having them.
Yeah. That's just the reality of it. And I know
Definitely.
and they probably feel offended. Mom, Dad, don't feel offended watching this, okay? Do not feel offended watching this. I'm not trying to write you off early. I'm just trying to come to terms with the fact that I have to face that one day.
Yeah.
It's a reality, especially.
And it's going to be sooner rather than later. And again, not trying to write you guys off, but for the average person, we know at our age and at your age, I'm most likely not going to have you for the next. I'm currently in my 30s. Most likely, I'm not going to have you for the next 30 years.
Yeah, right. Because you damn sure not going
So
to have mine.
I've had you I've had you right now in my current life. I've had you now for more time than I'm going to have left with you.
That's how I see
I want to maximize on the memories.
There you go. Yeah,
make
as many as you can while they can get around and still can articulate all that.
Me and my parents go back and forth about that all the time because I always tell my dad, if I get married, you know, my mom, I come to my wedding together, even though you're not together no more. So I used to always tease them and shit.
She ain't right.
I did. But like my parents, they have spent certain holidays stuck together, come together for their children. All of their children are adults.
Yeah,
they still come together and hold it down for the family because we are still a family,
regardless if they're together or not. Yeah.
So I need to watch your age gracefully together because if something happens when something happens to one, the other one going to have to help me.
Right.
No matter what happens to which one first.
There you go.
That's just the reality of it. And then as the oldest child, you kind of have the expectation to fulfill in and step in and be that comfort of the missing parent
for your
to that surviving parent and to the surviving siblings. So you kind of we got a little road too. Y'all be trying to undermine this parentified children. Okay, and I don't have time for that. Okay, we married to parentified kids.
We are a second parent. Fuck what they talking about, because I
parentified lives matter too.
Yes, they do.
The fuck.
We is not trying to write y'all off, and it's crazy because I was talking to my mom the other day, and I had her cracking up laughing so hard because we were talking about something, and she was saying they were driving crazy, and I'm like, well, Mom, the speed limit is such and such, and she's like, and I feel comfortable at such and such. I said, okay. I said, here I go. Count your fucking days with your keys, because I'm taking them bitches in the cup. You ain't gonna be. I said, listen, I'm gonna be nice. No. I said, you the one that I be pissed off at, because you're not gonna be 82 driving slow as shit in traffic. No.
Oh yeah, we took my grandma's keys a long time ago.
Had to take mine because
my grandma had blind.
Yeah,
literally.
That too, cataracts and all.
Yeah, my head blind, literally. And I just hope, God forbid, I just hope I don't take on the same attributes when I get older. I want to be able to drive as long as I can to drive myself. But I do believe, when speaking to parents aging, all right, y'all, tell me how y'all feel about this. I do think when people get a certain age, you should take their driver's license.
No, real shit.
I feel like once
your reflexes.
Thank you. That's exactly what I'm getting to.
Sorry, I
feel like once a person reaches a certain age, we should be retested. Just like how we go get physicals every year, we go get we should be retested for our driver's license to see where your reflexes are, to make sure you can still keep up with the times. That's why we got a fast lane and a slow lane. Let's not forget, people often get tickets and pulled over for speeding, but driving too slow is against the law as well.
You can cause an accident. You can cause an accident.
You're not riding with the flow. You gotta match the speed of traffic.
Matching the speed of
traffic. So I feel like America needs to instate something like that. That we need to be retested upon becoming a certain age. Maybe 5 years outside of the grace period of the old age. Maybe
60 years old. I don't even know, because I mean, when I'm thinking about my dad is 60 and he like a young spring chicken.
But that's what I'm saying. If he's at the age of retesting and he like, oh well, shit, you cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We'll see. It's like treat it like an X-ray.
Yeah. We'll see you in 5 years. Some shit like that.
I feel like at a certain age, it should be a regular retesting period just to make sure you're able to keep up with the times. And I feel like you should treat like insurance. If you get some sort of terminal illness or if you get a specific type of diagnosis, lose a limb or something like that, that would cause your retesting period to come up a little bit earlier. That would be an exception for your retesting period to come up earlier to test to make sure that you're still eligible to be appropriate for the road.
They gonna be, girl.
Listen, America. Y'all not listening enough to the people on the bottom. I'm just saying.
Bullshit, America.
I'm just saying, it really is. That need to be the episode title. This is some bullshit, America.
Real shit.
No, for real. Like seriously. In my back voice.
Yes, she laughed at. She thought that shit was so funny. I said, I don't know why you think that shit is cute and funny, but I'm really taking.
No, it's really not. She's going to get what you're thinking, because she's probably. Mom, I apologize if I beeped at you on the road.
Because I probably beeped too,
I probably
Chrissy.
did. Cause you gotta get out the way. I got places to go and things to do.
Okay, move. Get out the way.
Get out the way.
Okay. Listen, you won't be pissing off the younger people who got places to go.
Yeah, and then I don't want people getting into confrontations with people, and that because then now I'm on another side of the fence. If my parent get into something with one of these young bucks out here,
it's gonna be a problem. Boom.
Okay.
For real, not my mama. Not my mama.
And for real, listen. And both
and
both my parents, you gonna have a fucking problem with.
Yes.
Listen.
Yes. In different ways.
They call me.
It's about to blow.
Damn, listen. I'm gonna get my listen. We may or may not do a fucking episode with our parents. May or may not. It don't have to be one at a time though. We have to do theirs and then do mine.
I don't recommend that.
I don't. I just said we may have to give y'all a little something. Maybe a little Mother's Day, Father's Day post. We need y'all to know what our parents look like, so y'all don't fucking trying. Just saying.
That
done.
was
my purpose.
I am so done. I'm cracking up. Anyway, so yeah, watching your parents age, it really is. It's a thing. It's something to get used to. I'm telling you, because you gotta recently I just had to tell my mom, you getting older. Certain shit you can't be going for. Really had to snatch her and yank her back in. And she called me later that day and was like, you know what? I took your advice. I was so fucking proud as a daughter raising her mother. I was so proud. I said, look at you listening to shit. You listening to me now? Listen to me, because you know these little niggas don't listen. Mommies and daddies don't listen.
I say that all the time.
They don't listen.
The older you get, the more I realize now I have to raise my parents.
Yes.
I cuss my parents out. I talk to I yell at them. I talk to them how they used to talk to me. More so my mother. What? And when I do it, she's like, oh, well, do you remember that I'm your mother? Oh, well, do you remember that you taught me all of this that I'm getting right back to you?
Right back.
So sit down, listen to it, appreciate it, thank you.
And let it register. Holla back, youngin'. But yes. And speaking, and also I feel like, perfect segue, the older I get, the more I appreciate my upbringing.
Yeah.
I am so thankful that, even, and another thing from earlier, we was talking about the cartoons that we used to watch and shit like that, and just different things, and how we had to make up games when we were outside. Yeah. How this generation barely even wants to get off the couch. They don't want to put the tablet down. They always want to be in front of a screen, some sort of screen, some sort of technology, and they're not engaging with one another and enhancing those social skills that they're going to need as an adult to be effective and to be able to contribute to society. Whatever your role may be. We don't know what your calling is. But when you're sitting in front of a screen, how are you getting because because even within your family, you're going to be exposed to different kinds of people. Not everybody in your family is the same. So it starts there with your immediates, and then eventually you venture off and you start fostering relationships out that are extra familiar, and you got to be able to deal with a plethora of different people. So it was like if your parents and I said this to somebody recently. When you give your kids different opportunities and you expose them to different things, it makes them better off later on in life. Mm-hmm. When kids are deprived of certain things, they just can't function right. I don't care what nobody says.
Them as kids right now in the pandemic ain't been exposed to no fucking social.
They're not dumb. It's not their fault.
And the pandemic.
This dumbass pandemic.
And America fucked all up because America started this fucking pandemic. And yeah, sorry right now. I mean,
it's okay. We be having our feelings and shit.
But them kids is dumb.
They're not dumb. They just a little misguided. They have no guidance. And my
America,
upbringing,
y'all making these kids dumb with the pandemic.
my upbringing, and then somebody just made a step. I'm trying to think of what it was verbatim. Like basically what I just said. Like these parents just don't. They don't put in enough time.
Nope.
They're worried about too many other things, and I feel like we all have enough to be stressed out about on the regular
Yep.
in 2022. It's enough as it is. So it's just like, the fuck, like why not take some of that energy that you're using to be unproductive and put it back into your kid?
You know why? Because they so busy worrying about the fact that they can't get into the clubs without vaccination card.
Yeah, too.
And do the wrong shit.
Let
They're so
the
busy
hoe
worrying
out.
about
Letting the hoe out.
when the next thing
Turn
is
up.
coming.
Mm-hmm, when the next turn up.
You know how much they gonna be able to make off these kids because tax season is approaching.
Dressing them a certain
worried
way.
about.
Yeah, dressing them a certain
At the end
way.
of the day, that's one of those things that I'm gonna always talk shit about because as a non-parent, and I see these kids and work with individuals in the community that constantly do this, and I watch the nature of these people and how it does not benefit their lives whatsoever.
At all.
I'm gonna keep talking shit
Mm-hmm.
until you get your raggedy ass kids and your raggedy ass parents. Y'all need to get yourselves together.
Yes, they do. Yes, y'all do.
Because when you talk about, appreciating and benefiting the different things we learned while we were kids, I feel like we were the last generation of one of the best generations.
Because we had a mixture.
We got that mixture of knowing the cusp of that millennial, but also still having some fucking common sense. Because in this generation, common sense ain't common at all.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even have common sense. In our generation, there was common sense ain't so common.
Because we were
Now,
kind of sort of the last ones that had that, whereas like the last couple, it was the grandparents raising us also.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So we kind of have that extra shield on us. Whereas right now, grandmothers is like 10 years older than we are. If that. It's some women who were grandmothers in their late mid-30s. Because they had their child young and their child had a child young. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like you got babies raising babies through and through, and it's just fucking terrible. The attention span of the average child.
That's what it is right there. Keyword to what you just said, attention.
Yeah.
There is no attention, the attention span of the children, and then there is no attention from the parents or the authoritative figures in these children's lives that's being given specifically to these children to nurture the things that they need versus the things that they do not.
Mm-hmm. True. That's true.
That attention is key. You said that, so I just wanted to point that out.
No, seriously.
That attention was key.
Yeah, because they're not paying attention to what their kids are doing. You need to be on their phones, monitoring the apps that they're using, checking out what their friends are talking about, making sure that you're giving them space to communicate things with you that are uncomfortable. Because let's be clear, even with our generation, there were some things that weren't good. Because some kids felt like that they were so sheltered, or they were either so sheltered, or their parents were so strict that they wilded the fuck out. Like I know a lot of people that couldn't do shit growing up. Like I was one of them. I won't say I couldn't do shit.
My mom swears that I wasn't.
I wouldn't say that I couldn't do shit at all. But let's be clear.
There was a lot that I wanted to do that
I did not do. That I wasn't, and I didn't even bother asking for it because you want to know why? I was responsible for doing certain things.
My mom got offended when I said that.
That comes, but you want to know something that comes,
and I told her that comes
being a parent.
Age.
But it comes with being a parent also. You're going to, they are fucking figure. There's no manual for the child that is born to
What I
you.
do think parents do is parents become parents and forget that they were ever children.
That also is very true.
That is one of the scariest things that I feel like about being a parent. I would never want to become an adult and become that parent that always harbored down on kids so bad because you forgot that you was fucking 5 and 16 before.
Yeah, right.
Why are you doing this, bitch? Bitch, you was 5 before. Bitch, you was 16 before. And you was trying to act like you was so fucking perfect. I think, like you said, there's no book. Parents harbor so much on trying not to allow kids to make the same mistakes that they did. Y'all fuck up in the midst of that. Y'all fuck up by trying to come down so fucking hard on them.
I think a lot of what happens is a lot of shit that they didn't particularly give fucking care for, or fucked up shit that was done to them as far as like their parenting, they're trying to fix it, but they wound up fumbling that in some sort of way because they're not perfect. And again, there's no manual with parenting because I'm trying to tell you,
And for me, that's
especially when you sit here watching Power and
look.
looking at how his dad got him up in the. I don't give a fuck. I'm sorry. He is so dedicated. I don't care because I can't wait till Sunday. And on top of that, I just feel like you're so fucking hell-bent on living this life that you don't have to live. And it's just like your parents gave you, quote unquote, everything. They weren't perfect.
You know, they were emotional because
they were nowhere near perfect. But let me tell you something. Let me tell you something.
Ooh, y'all know this show.
He was determined to fuck up. I don't know, cause listen, it's no guarantee.
You gonna make my fucking lash come off because
I'm hollering.
You know, ghosts can be emotional.
Listen, and you know it's no guarantee you're gonna come out with, you're gonna have a child that's gonna match your temperament either.
Mm-hmm.
Like you might have to be rise to the occasion on the ass like 24/7.
That's part of this. One of the scariest things about becoming a parent.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know how I'm gonna react. You don't know how your child gonna come out. So fuck them kids. Love them kids when they're not yours, but fuck them kids.
What else about your upbringing do you appreciate? What's another aspect?
I mean, I said all of that, but let's be clear. I do appreciate how I was raised because, like you said, we was raised in a very cusp of a time. We had a little bit of both. Mm-hmm. The grandparents raising us and this millennial generation. So I do appreciate the time period that I was raised in, and I appreciate the fact that I was not raised in a technology-based generation. Based on how I was raised, I like the fact that I wasn't raised with an iPad or with a computer. I like the fact that I came from landlines. Like, I remember having my own landline phone.
Me too.
I remember internet dial-up.
Yep.
I appreciate those things and I appreciate watching technology transition. Mm-hmm. I feel like, again, that's one of the best things from our generation because we watched things were not very far off from the beginning, like cell phones when we were younger and coming up, and now we watch things like iPods and iPads. Which I remember I had an iPod Shuffle.
Yes, I had an iPod. It got stolen. I never bought another one.
We watched it transition. We are now at what, iPhone, like 13, 15, some shit like that.
13,
and 13 generations of iPhone alone.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one of the biggest things I appreciate about being one of my time frames. Just kind of watching technology grow the way that it did. Because, bitch, I remember Oregon Trail. And we only had
Atari, all that shit.
Atari's a throwback. If anybody born probably after 1996 or 7, if you say the word floppy disk, they're probably gonna fucking roll their damn heads.
Yeah, it is. Like, what the fuck is that?
What is a floppy
I remember having to write my book reports and put it on a floppy disk and taking it to school so my teacher could take it off the floppy disk and save it. I remember actually doing that. Like writing my little 4-paragraph book reports.
Computer monitors and
how they
changed over time.
Going from fat backs to flat screens.
Yeah, flat screens. That's what I appreciate the most, I think, about my childhood. Just watching how specifically technology itself changed. Because again, we were blockbuster kids.
We were. And I think, honestly, the most thing... So, what that says to me is we learn how to adapt a lot. Like, we had to roll with the punches a lot. We have a lot of knowledge from those before us and what's going on now. We are the bridge. We really are. We are the fucking bridge. Like, the bridge.
I love being the bridge.
Me too.
I love.
Because it ain't over.
Nope. I love being the bridge. That's right there in the thick, in the middle, knowing a little bit. And I use this term with people because I was dating somebody. He used this term too, and I was like, damn, you know what? That's actually kind of makes sense. I like to know a little bit about a lot.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So, and I feel like that's the term that defines our generation, that bridge generation. We know a little bit about a lot. Those terminologies of the old school and the new school, we can bridge it right there and make everything make sense for both. For everybody.
I feel like we adapt very well, and I feel like when we get older, we're going to exceed even what our parents are able to do, like how they're able to adapt and shit like that.
Longer.
Yeah, that's it. We just might. Yeah,
I feel like we might live longer.
We just might. Yeah.
And speaking of living longer,
if the pandemic ever ends, we just might.
Thank you for being a friend.
Oh
Travel
yeah.
down the road and back.
And you want to know what's crazy? The part that touched my heart is my mom and her best friend sing that song, the Golden Girls theme song, every single year to each other for their birthday. They don't sing Happy Birthday.
Don't know what we're talking about.
Yes.
R.I.P. to Betty White.
Betty White, yes, because she was amazing.
She would have been 100 years old on January 17th.
Yep.
They was just doing interviews.
Martin Luther King Day this year.
Yep. They was just doing interviews on her, talking about how does it feel to be 99, and she said something about seeing a quote from one of her recent interviews and said, "Oh, I stayed away from anything green." And you know what I took that as when I read it? What? She stayed away from anything that was money driven.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's how I took that.
Me
and
too.
I felt like because money is the root.
The love of
the
money.
Love of money is the root of all evil. And I feel like that's how I took that statement.
Yep, that's
from that. I felt like she stayed away from anything that was financially driven and money driven, so she wanted to stay with
Betty was a real nigga.
Yeah, she was.
Like, she was still taking shots and shit.
She was definitely like the Hollywood version of Bill Clinton. Mm-hmm. Because Bill was anybody whose parents or anybody who didn't like Bill Clinton, because Bill Clinton was a president when we was young boys. Yep. I understand some people may not have like some of the things.
Him and
Bill
Bush is the ones I remember from my childhood.
Bill was a real nigga on the com. Bill was the white version of Obama. There was a lot of things that Bill and Obama did that we didn't specifically like as a people, but in the term of presidency and in the role of the decisions that he had to make, because that's a very hard role. You gotta you have to have make or break decisions. You gotta decide whether you going to start a fucking war, drop a bomb that gonna kill 100,000 fucking people, or decide to pull back and do something else. That's a very hard position to play. Mm-hmm. So I personally feel like Bill was the white Obama. And they just was put in positions, of course, as for president, they signed up for it. They signed up for it. They was put in positions where they had to make hard decisions. Absolutely. And all of them, and anybody who's put in that position, you're not going to always like the decisions that they make.
True.
And that's how I felt, because outside of Obama, I felt like Bill was one of the best presidents that we had. I don't give a fuck if he got his dick sucked, because all men get their dick sucked.
Yes, they do, one way or another, whether it's their wife or the next bitch. Mm-hmm. They's going to get their dick sucked.
And Monica turned around and she made some coins off of it, so at the end of the day,
she served her purpose.
Right. So that would be, that's my perspective on that.
Great.
No, seriously.
So yeah. She's funny. But
how do we even get to that?
I don't know.
How did I start talking about Bill?
I have no idea, but I'm gonna reel this back in. And we're gonna go right on to the next topic.
How did we get to Bill? I don't know.
The next topic, planner versus procrastinator.
Oh shit.
For the most part, a bitch is a planner.
Well,
I hate procrastinating.
Yeah.
I hate procrastination.
We went from presidency to planning versus procrastinating.
I don't. Some people like to work under pressure. I don't.
Yeah, I don't prefer
I don't like to have to.
I understand pressure that I work well under pressure, but I don't like working
Me neither. Pressure. If I can plan it out, I am all for it.
But my catch-22 to that is I hate planning something and then it completely fucking falls through.
That too. But at least having a plan makes you feel some type of stability.
Depending on what it. And that's why I think I said
that's why you don't just have to have one plan. You can have plan A and plan B. And maybe a plan C. Shit.
Yeah, shit. Maybe
maybe
A through C. No, seriously, depending on the situation, because if you can have a plan to go on a vacation. Mm-hmm. I'm just talking off the top of my head. First, you plan to go on a vacation with Dice. Again, I'm just going off the top of my head, figuring out a scenario. That's fucking detrimental, right? So again, you wanted to plan, and it was okay to plan in planning a trip, but when something unexpected like that happens, it's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, they passed away. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. Depending on where the trip is too, and how much it was, I might still gotta go.
Yeah, but I'm just just thinking off the top of my head. But when you talk about more things, people, I think more so in the idea of work or building something for yourself.
I'm thinking in terms of just anything when it comes to shit like that. Just don't listen. And it's so funny because one of my siblings will tell you, she finally gets it. Don't call Island and ask her shit last minute because it's going to be a fucking flat out no. Don't even bother me. Because she plans things ahead of time. Yes, the fuck, I'm glad somebody
and
understands.
even if I don't have nothing planned, you can never call me last minute.
Absolutely. Because I just might not feel like it.
Never.
I just might not feel like it.
Yeah, didn't I just tell you that that's what my main excuse of getting out of a date? We was talking about that before.
Yeah.
Getting out of a date, my main excuse, Yeah,
because I feel like in planning, you can plan for like fuck ups and mishaps and stuff, like shit like that. Especially if it's something that you experienced before, or if it's something that you've done research on. Like oh shit, just in case, let me charge the battery, or let me bring extra this or extra that. Like I don't know. Like
I'm definitely like that. I think more so when it comes to dealing with people directly.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's with, dealing with men or like I say, dealing with people, you know what you gotta do when you gotta do it. You just kind of try to set yourself up, like plan ahead. Oh, let me put this in place because I know I'm going to do
accordingly.
this.
Right.
Like I'm the kind of woman when we single and we dating, I keep a toiletry bag in the trunk of my car.
Yes, the fuck I do. And it's so funny that you went that route.
That's called planning ahead. A toiletry bag. You have soap, toiletries, body wash, essentials, deodorant, toothpaste.
Underclothes, feminine hygiene products.
Yes, all of those things.
Yes, hairpins, scrunchies, bitch, because they always get lost.
You may always end up at a guy's house, but what if you have a late night with the girls, you guys bar hop or something like that? Oh, I'm too drunk to drive home. You stayed overnight and you crashed at a friend.
Now you got your scarf and your toothbrush so you can get up in the morning. You can go home.
So that's part of planning.
And it's so funny you said that because when I was walking into the market the other day, I literally heard this girl and her friend having a conversation. They just went grocery shopping together. And she was like, wow, your trunk is so much cleaner than mine is. She's like, you have everything compartmentalized. And I'm thinking to myself, that's so funny because that's how I am also. And she was like, well, what do you have in that bag over there? Her friend was like, oh, nothing, just an outfit for every season. And they started busting out laughing.
Yeah.
They started busting out laughing. I'm like, yeah, that's real shit. She's like, yo, you are so much more organized than I am. She's like, because I could never. She was like,
you just never
I got 7 million pairs of shoes in my trunk, all types of shit. And you know exactly which friend I thought about when it came to that.
I definitely got a pair of flats, a pair of boots, and a pair of heels.
With them fucking sternos and them racks.
Cable legs. Bitch, shout out to Alexander McQueen. She said, bitch, I got my Alexander McQueen in case anything go down. Bitch, I don't know if I might have to pull out these tables.